Well, today we're going to start a collection of strawberry themed items for our dollhouse front porch. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this doormat is. All right, to start our doormat, we are going to coat a piece of felt. Now this is a piece of kind of a rust brown felt. You can use any color you want. I like this color. And I'm actually not going to paint this time. This is, by the way, the kind of felt that you buy by the yard at the fabric store, not the stuff you buy by the square in the craft store. It's a little heavier, a little more durable, and it's actually, it looks like a lot for the yard, but you can buy like most fabric stores will sell you an eighth of a yard or or a quarter yard at least. And it's usually, this particular type is 72 inches wide. So you get a lot more for your money when you buy it by the yard. So if you're making a lot of these, go ahead and look into it and watch for the fabric store to have some sales. So we're going to coat this with a really good thick coat of matte Mod Podge. We're doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it will make our felt a little stiffer, a little easier to work with. It'll lay better once it's done. It'll make our paint that we are putting on go on better because we're not going to paint a background color this month, but we are going to paint our design on. And it just makes it a lot nicer. So I am going to put a really good thing. You see how thick I'm putting that. I'm putting on a good coat. And then this will need to dry, and I'm betting this is going to take overnight to dry because, like I said, I'm putting it on pretty thick. Don't leave this sitting on your work surface without moving it every once in a while because these do have a tendency to stick to the tile if they sit in one place too long at first. So I'm moving it around now. I'm going to go clean my brush. I'm going to go do some stuff. In about a half hour, I'll come back. I'll move it around again. And I'll do that until it looks like it's getting dry, starting to dry and won't stick anymore. So when this is dry, I'll come back and we can start our design. All right, now that Mod Podge is dry, and you can see this is now nice and stiff. It's nice and firm, and it's ready to use. And this is sealed, so it won't soak up the paint. Our paint won't run into the fabric as we paint with it. So now we're going to make some strawberries. Some apple barrel in flag red. This is some of the paint that Plaid was so kind to send to me. And I'm going to use one of their brushes. This is the same one I used for the Mod Podge. But we're not going to use this end. We're going to use this end. We're going to paint some strawberries with this red paint. But we're going to make some really simple strawberries. Now, the doormat that I'm making today, it's inspired by one I saw online that I just thought was so cool. And it took me a while to get some of the details that I wanted to do. So, oops, we need a lot bigger splotch. And you're going to kind of want to rock your brush handle. Put as many or as few of these as you want. And kind of try to make them a little bit random. I'm actually going to put out some paint on the tray, on my tile and waste a little. Because I want a little deeper on my brush, on my handle than that. That's better. Back over these guys. And they can be different sizes. In fact, you want them a little bit different size. You want them, they can be individuals. We're not going to write on this one this time. We're just going to put the strawberries, which you probably saw in the intro to the video, but at this point I haven't finished, so I always forget that you guys have already seen the finished product. So there we go. That's all I'm going to put on here. Now all we need to do is wipe this off with a wet wipe and let this dry completely before we go to the next step. So I'll be back when this dries. All right, here's how our little strawberries look at this point. So now, and they're just little red blobs at this point. Don't worry, we're going to do something with them. Next, we're going to make a tool because on the one I saw that I got inspired by, it had this really sloppy like line. It was supposed to look like you'd put a blob of paint on paper and just drew a really quick line around it. Well, I tried all different kinds of ways to make something that looked like that drawn line, and nothing worked until I got the idea of using some wire. Oh, there. Okay, now it's gonna focus. So this is 20 gauge stem wire. I have a pair of needle nose pliers. Bend this around and then go up here, so that's next to it. I will have a picture, excuse me, I'll have a picture of the end of this on the blog post. And I'm going to make a circle. And we're just making kind of a round in my paint. This happens to be coated, this wire happens to be coated. If you have plain wire that's not coated, that would probably be better. And then bend it up. And now you've got this little loop. Yeah, I tried little tiny paintbrushes, I tried toothpick, I tried everything I could think of to make this the way I wanted. I tried every pen I have, and nothing worked to give me the line I wanted. I couldn't get the line thin enough. Now I'm trying to get this all nice and flat. You do need this surface to be nice and flat. I'm going some black craft paint, and this is Apple Barrel Black. This is also some paint that Plaid sent me. I think I'm just going to put some out on my tray. And we are going to dip and kind of practice off on your work surface, because you'll find you have to kind of rock this, and it's okay if it's not a complete loop every time. This one is a little bit ovally shaped, tear shaped, which I kind of like. There. If it fills in like a bubble wand does, you'll want to blow that skin of paint out. You don't want, I'm not getting it over on the side. I need to be sure and rock it back and forth. There. And that time it didn't form a skin over it, which is easier. Turn this. Oh, the FedEx guy is right outside my window, and he's got his radio on. Hopefully that won't be loud enough to for YouTube to hear it. Trying to remember to kind of rotate. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing here. And we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and add some leaves to the tops of our strawberries. And bonus, no brush to clean. You can just wipe this off or rinse it off. And I'll be back when this is dry. All right, our paint is dry, and I found the very smallest paintbrush I could find. And a green paint, and this, you want kind of a bright green. In fact, this one's called Bright Green. It's Folk Art Multi-Surface. It's another one that Plaid sent me. And we are going to take just a little bit of green, and you're going to have to decide which is the top on each strawberry. And just put, I think I'll go this way on that one. Kind of try to make your strawberries so they're not all the same direction. Whoops, that's kind of a blob. That's okay. And just make little tiny kind of V shapes. And the smaller your paintbrush, the better on this one. I tried it with a toothpick, and it didn't work on the texture. Part of the problem here is all the texture from the felt. So we are going to, we just got a couple more, and then this just needs to dry, and when this gets dry, I will meet you over at the dollhouse, and we'll see how this looks by the front door. So I'll be right back. All right, here's our little doormat in place in front of the front door in the dollhouse. I think we've got a good start to our strawberry collection. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button. Be sure and go check the blog post out for more details and photos. If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you to hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you for watching today's tutorial, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!